We're back on legal reform on Facebook. All right, I just posted a whole bunch of posts here. All right, see, everything I put here, this is your ammunition. These are tools you can use against the courts, lawyers, judges, politicians, all your public servants out there. Okay, anybody that works on the other side of the badge that where you're at, all take an oath to defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. So I'm just giving you what you can use. Okay, duty to report misconduct, that's from Wikipedia, and they just get that from legal websites themselves. Any judge, any lawyer aware of any other judge or lawyer not abiding by the rules of professional conduct or the code of judicial conduct has a duty to report misconduct. All right, so that's over here. Duty to disclose attorney misconduct. So you click on that link and it'll tell you exactly what misconduct is and who's supposed to report it and how and why. They don't actually even have to be in the same courtroom to know uh, what's going on as far as the misconduct. They could hear it in the news, uh, any social media site. If they're aware, if another attorney or judge is violating the code of judicial conduct or the rules of professional conduct, which is misconduct. Those are strict guidelines for the judges and the lawyers to operate in a court of law. The code of judicial conduct and the rules of professional conduct are the laws within a court of law. Those are the laws governing lawyers and judges. Okay. Okay. Here's you can report that to the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division. I put on there, just click on report civil rights violations. So when you write up your report on violations of the code of judicial conduct and the rules of professional conduct, when you go to file it, you also want to file it with the Department of Justice. Uh, you have a right to effective assistance of counsel. And if your lawyer doesn't abide by the rules of professional conduct, and you'll have to go over it, I'll go over it with you in another video. But if your lawyer has to abide by those rules, and they rarely ever do. They don't even tell you that they exist. In the rules of professional conduct, it says they're supposed to educate the public, so that you'll have confidence in the judiciary system, and they don't tell you. I mean, having informed consent, if you look that up, I'll add that on to here later. You are required to give informed consent. And in order to give informed consent, you must have reasonable knowledge to give informed consent. And reasonable knowledge would be knowing that the rules and the codes exist. And you not having knowledge of that violates your right to effective assistance of counsel, and which also violates the code of judicial conduct and the rules of professional conduct. See, so I'm giving you all this. I see a lot of you are complaining, well, lawyers don't do this and judges don't do that. So you're going to have to file these reports and take every avenue possible. With not only do you file with your state commission, they all have different names to where you file against your judge or lawyer. But you also want to file with the American Bar Association, your state bar association. You need to take every avenue possible. Okay. So I explained the code of conduct, of the United States judges. See, the federal judges, uh, they consistently violate the code of judicial conduct. So you want to go through that. All right. Like in the code of judicial conduct, it tells you about how judges are supposed to remain unbiased, show no prejudice regardless of race, creed, color, sexual orientation, uh, what you want to go by. That's something the LGBT community should look into. Because the judges are notoriously biased towards that community. But then again, they're notoriously biased against most communities, whether it be black, Latino. But you'll have to go through the Code of Judicial Conduct and the Rules of Professional Conduct to find out. Now, I could sit there and read it to you, but you'll probably fall asleep, and it'd probably be a lot more interesting and keep you awake a lot longer if you read it yourself. Okay? So I have a copy of the codes and the rules downloaded in my computer, and I'm going to go over to you why I downloaded it in another video. But for right now, I'm just explaining to you, these are just tools I'm giving you to use, okay? With the American Bar Association, so you're going to want to confront them in every way possible. It says here, Rule 2.15, responding to judicial and lawyer misconduct, okay? So you're going to want to pop that open, and it tells you anytime a lawyer or a judge commits misconduct, they're supposed to report it. They're supposed to report each other. The lawyer's supposed to report the judge is supposed to report the lawyers. They're supposed to report each other for not reporting each other. This takes a domino effect, okay? Because nobody, and I've been to plenty of courts, not just for myself, but for quite a few other people, and I've been doing this for a lot of years, and nobody, never once, and I've been to several different states just to witness what goes on in the courtroom because I had to know if it was just Illinois, but it's not. It's every state. So no lawyer abides by the rules. No judge abides by the codes. So they're all uh, guilty of misconduct and not reporting each other. That just adds on onto it. So the judge is in violation for not reporting the lawyers, and for not reporting the lawyers for reporting him or her. It just takes a domino effect. Okay. So these are just a lot of tools you can use. I put over here for the Wisconsin courts. A judge shall avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all the judge's activities. This is just a little brief statement out there. You're going to have to want to really go through all of it. A judge shall respect and comply with the law and act at all times in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. Public confidence in the judiciary is eroded by irresponsible, improper conduct of judges. A judge must avoid all impropriety and appearance and impropriety. A judge must expect to be the subject of constant public scrutiny. A judge must therefore accept restrictions on the judge's conduct that might be viewed as burdensome by the ordinary citizen and should do so freely and willingly. The prohibition against having impropriety and the appearance of impropriety applies to both professional and personal conduct of a judge because it is not practicable in list of all prohibited acts. I can't see it there. But you'll get to just read it and you'll find it for yourself. Okay, it'll come to you a lot easier if you read it versus me reading it. This is a lot of stuff I picked up throughout the years, trying to help people in court of law. Okay, ethics board opinion. Now, these are all legal websites. These are not my words. Just a lot of copy and paste on. I do, okay? Paralegal works for an attorney who is advanced in years. It becomes increasingly clear that the lawyer has begun to show the effect of that age, forgetting items on the calendar, becoming disorientated when traveling. What should be known routes, recalling having performed work when it's complete. So it's not just the lack of forgetting age, because no matter what age, you know, they just don't abide by the code of judicial conduct. Lawyers don't abide by the rule of professional conduct. So it's up to a paralegal, because they know the law. I'm quite sure they know the rules and the codes exist. So it's up to them to report the lawyers and judges for misconduct as well. Okay, so you'll want to look into that. Like I said, these are all legal websites. Legal malpractice, Chicago professional malpractice lawyers. So you want to learn the codes and the rules of professional conduct, specifically reporting misconduct. Before you even talk to a lawyer about legal malpractice. There was a time when most lawyers were required to have legal malpractice insurance, but people make money, they don't like to spend it, so they fixed it to where it's not mandatory, not mandatory in all states. So it's not mandatory in all states anymore to have legal malpractice. So you can easily prove legal malpractice because nobody abides by the codes or the rules. That's quite easy. All right. The judge's ethical duty to report misconduct by other judges and lawyers and its effect on the judicial independence. Okay, so that'll help you out there. That'll give you an understanding. Judicial misconduct and public confidence in rule of law. I've been talking about rule of law for, I don't know, 30, 40 years, and a lot of people didn't understand me. And, before the internet, all I had were the books, and nobody wanted to sit down and go through these books with me. So this makes it quite easier, so much easier for me to get you to understand. But what you got to do is open this stuff and read it, and you'll understand it, okay? And understanding the rules and the codes, you know, uh, whatever state you're in, just type in the rules of professional conduct, and then the rules of professional conduct will come in. And you say, well, hey, I can't find a complaint form. So type in rules, professional conduct, complaint form. And then it'll take you to the complaint form. And then you just cite all the rules they broke on there. It's easier than filling out a job application. Same thing goes for the code of judicial conduct. Whatever state you're in, just type in code of judicial conduct and your state issue will come up. So you'll see the code of judicial conduct and read it. And you say, well, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, they didn't do this. So then type in Code of Judicial Conduct complaint form, and the complaint form should come up for your state. Now, if you're looking for another state, just type in Tennessee Code of Judicial Conduct or Alabama Code of Judicial Conduct, and it'll come up. And then do the same thing, add complaint form afterward. Because a lot of y'all moved around from one state to another, so you're trying to figure out how to get these rules and codes. So you just, if you're in Alabama and you want Tennessee, so you just type in Tennessee Code of Judicial Conduct, and you'll come up with Tennessee Code of Judicial Conduct. And then you want the complaint form, and then type in Code of Judicial Conduct complaint form, and that'll come up. So you'll just download that and just fill it out appropriately. When you go to the sites, they like to, make it a little hard on you. So I'm making it easy on you. Just get the complaint form, the rules, and cite the rules. All right. And the codes that they violate. Okay. Reporting, Rule 8.3, reporting professional misconduct. So the American Bar Association will tell you about it. And that's specifically the rule. The rule 8.3, reporting professional misconduct. Okay. Every state has that rule, and it's even in the federal rules. So it's mandatory. Okay, I even threw some sites up there explaining it to you and what you can do about it. Liability for failure to report misconduct. Okay, so you want to check into that. Okay, there is liability, and these are your big guns when you go to court: the rules of professional conduct and the code of judicial conduct. You don't take these with you. Download that and then highlight every issue you want to bring up and then print it out and take it with you. If you don't, you're going into a gunfight with a knife, and not even a real knife, a rubber knife. You'll be like a Boy Scout with a rubber knife in a gunfight. But if you take the rules of professional conduct and the code of judicial conduct with you, the codes are called canons. So you'll be essentially taking cannons to a gunfight. All right. This is a no-lose situation for you. I put here failure to investigate a trial. Okay. Sixth Amendment article and Article First 8 requires defense counsel to investigate all surrounding circumstances of the case and to explore all avenues that may potentially lead to fact relevant to the defense of the case. Okay, so this basically tells you that, let's see, yeah, impose on, okay, investigate all surrounding circumstances of the case to explore all avenues that may potentially lead to facts relevant to the defense of the case. It gives you some case numbers in addition to key imposed on counsel duty to investigate, because effective assistance to counsel must be based on professional decisions, and informed legal choices can be made only after investigation of options. Strickland versus Washington. Okay, so you are entitled to effective assistance of counsel. That means a lawyer that's going to abide by the rules of professional conduct. If they fail to abide by one rule, that is ineffective assistance of counsel. That's where I came up with the term ineffective assistance of counsel. Actually, I picked it up in 1980 when I first read the rules of professional conduct, and it was in the rules of professional conduct stating ineffective assistance of counsel if they fail to abide by any of the rules. Okay, so you're going to want to go through that, but you are guaranteed, and you're right, not only to a fair trial, and on the Miranda rights it says you have right to an attorney. Well, the attorney must be effective assistance of counsel. To ignore the rules of professional conduct makes that lawyer ineffective. Okay. Ineffective assistance of counsel, meaning, determination, and remedies. Okay, ineffective assistance of counsel, a claim asserted by a criminal defendant that his or her defense attorney failed to perform reasonable, competent manner. That violates the right to effective counsel, and thus a fair trial, as guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. A successful claim of ineffective assistance of counsel can be the grounds to overturn a conviction and or vacate a sentence. The right to a competent lawyer is not limited to criminal trial. Adequate legal performance is required in nearly every stage of every criminal court process. Some of these stages include plea dealings, presenting motions, and post-conviction proceedings. But it also applies in any other court. You'll have to read this more, but effective assistance of counsel is guaranteed in child court. With any lawyer, your lawyer must be effective assistance of counsel, no matter what courtroom you're in. I've helped people in family court, divorce court. I helped my old buddy Bob. I had a little crash of depression, and I wasn't doing anything for a while. That's when I lost track of you guys for a while. But he was getting hit with child support. They were garnishing his wages, and he had possession of the child. So I told him, let's go to the court and file for an appearance. We did. I had him put in for waiver of fees, called a fee waiver now, so he didn't have to burden any court costs. And before he went to court, I had him get some affidavits from the school teacher, the teachers, principal, the cop at the school, and had them all notarize it. That way these people didn't have to show up to court. There was no need to file for a motion to compel or get depositions. They wrote out some statements, had it notarized, which made these legal binding statements. So when he went to court, the judge told him he needed a lawyer. He said he didn't need a lawyer right now. The judge said right now. And then he asked me, he said, Mario, what's it called? I said, ineffective assistance of counsel. I says, for a lawyer to come in at this point would be ineffective because he'd failure to be diligent, the failure to communicate, the failure to reveal the rules of professional conduct. It's all right, you know. And so the judge let him speak, and but the judge wanted to know what gave him the right to speak. When I mentioned the code of judicial conduct, the judge shut up. All right, because you have a right to say something to the judge, and the judge has to allow you. Usually, judges say, no, you need an attorney. I want to talk to your attorney. Well, your attorney, legal term is assistance of counsel. He's there to assist you in your legal endeavors. He's not there to, there's no need to interpret. You both speak English. So anyways, Bob went with the affidavits. He filed for an appearance, filed for a fee waiver so he didn't have to pay court costs or fees. Brought up the code of judicial conduct so the judge would let him speak, and then brought up the rules of professional conduct so where he didn't need a lawyer at the moment. Submitted the affidavits, which was just as good as having these people there. The doctors, he took his kid to, the teachers, the principal, the cop at the school, so nobody had to show. And everything happened that day. The judge made it to where his wife had to pay back for the wage garnishment. She had to get a job, pay that back. They stopped the wage garnishment, led to his divorce, finally his divorce, and didn't have to pay any alimony, none of that. She had to pay him back, okay? So you just want to learn how to use this, all right? I'm just giving you some tools you can use, all right? Prosecution functions and duties of a prosecutor. The primary duty of a prosecutor is to seek justice within the bounds of the law, not merely to convict. The prosecutor serves the public interest and should act with integrity and balanced judgment to increase public safety, both by pursuing appropriate criminal charges and appropriate severity, and by exercising discretion to not pursue criminal charges in inappropriate circumstances. The prosecutor should seek to protect the innocent and convict the guilty, consider the interests of victims and witnesses, and respect to the constitutional and legal rights of all persons, including suspects and defendants. That's in the Fifth Amendment about, fair trial. Okay, so this is a constitutional right to effective assistance counsel to an impartial judge or jury. Definition of letter of the law, exactly what the law says. Lawyers and judges, when you try to discuss the rules or the codes with them, will tell you that's not the way we interpret it, which violates letter of the law. They have to do exactly what the rules say and exactly what the codes say. Now apply that to rule of law, and the ABA gives you a definition of that. And it's simply put, nobody above the law. But and here there's a video, just a short video. It's 1 minute long that tells you what rule of law is. So you should really check that out. Okay. This was just something for a T-shirt I made up that I'm selling on Spotify, and it's connected to Google. Okay. So let's take a look at this video real quick. I'm going to end this video, and hopefully you'll take a look at all those posts. Those are all tools you can use against your lawyers and the judges in a court of law. Okay, so let's watch this quick video, and then I'm going to end this. I'm going to go over the professional conduct in the next video and the code of judicial conduct. and how they work together and can destroy your judges and lawyers' career. Every lawyer participated in your course, in your case, the course of your case, and the judge. Okay. Beautifully. I thought that was beautiful. Okay. You're gonna want to look at, a lot of this stuff I put up here. Just me and this one advertising my T-shirt. It has Miranda rights on the front, Terry stop law on the back, uh, Declaration of Independence on the right sleeve, and the traffic stop law on the left sleeve. So because that way when a cop comes up to you, that's the first thing they see is the traffic law written on your arm or imprinted on your arm. Okay, and this post just it's what's on. This is on the front. This is on the back. Stop and frisk, the Terry law. This is a traffic stop law and the Declaration of Independence. I put the Constitution, but the Declaration of Independence is what led to our Constitution. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed uh, by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And because they're not following through on your constitutional right to due process by abiding by the rules of professional conduct and the code of judicial conduct, you've been deprived of your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That was what you've been going through was not a fair trial. It was not a quick and speedy trial. In one of my posts earlier, I put a post up there. It's a law for a quick and speedy trial. In the Code of Judicial Conduct and the Rules of Professional Conduct, it mandates that the lawyers and the judges must be diligent in every effort that they proceed in the court. Okay, expediting litigation, that's mandatory in a court of law. It's a rule. Okay, so but nobody does this. Nobody does this in a court of law. That's all you got to know. And these are all your tools. These are all your weapons that you can use against them. Okay. There's so much different stuff I talked about in a lot of different posts. But I mean, if you really want justice, you want to change the way things are going, because what goes on in the court of law isn't how it's supposed to go on. You know how they play the game, but the way they play the game is they're playing you. But you take the codes and the rules with you and use them, you can't be played. All right. There's so much you should know. Okay, I'm pushing the 30-minute mark here. Uh, Top up here changed a little bit. I let Facebook pick, and they picked it by according who liked what posts the most. So that's the only change that's come up here. Okay, I appreciate you stopping by. Got nothing but love for you. You know, I don't want you to go what I've been going through all my life and what I've been doing most of my life, trying to stop it from happening to other people. Remember, the only legal reform you need is what I'm showing you here. Make sure everybody plays the game by the rules of professional conduct, the code of judicial conduct. That is due process. All right. That's the only legal reform you need, is to know what due process is and how to work it. All right. It's the only legal reform you need. That's why I named this legal reform. So you can take all these tools that I've been talking about. Everything I post are all legal websites. Legal websites. I'm teaching you to use their words against them. Okay, simple as that. Using their words against them. Hold them to the oath they took. Okay, because remember, they all take an oath. Lawyers, judges, cops, politicians. Whether they work for the Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, they all take an oath to defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. You know, in one of my posts, I mentioned how I've seen average Joe and average Joanne arrested for domestic violence, domestic disputes. Why are not these people being? This is domestic enemies here. Enemies of the state are the state. They took an oath, put their hand and stared at the flag and pledged allegiance to a flag. When I pledged allegiance, I pledge allegiance to the people, we the people. My people before my government, before my country, because without my people, we the people of the United States, the heart of America, this country couldn't run. It wouldn't exist. It would falter, it would fail. Without you, we the people, this country is nothing. So I'm just inviting you, pick up all this ammunition, take these big guns and cannons and use them. Nothing but love for you. Peace out, pops. Legal Reform on Facebook.